If you ever keyed up a CB radio rolling down Interstate 80 in a cab over Peterbilt, you spoke a second language, a language with no textbook and no dictionary, passed from driver to driver on Channel 19 across a million miles of American highway. But that language is dying. Ask a young driver today what a chicken coop is, or why you never wanted to meet Kojak with a Kodak, and you get a blank stare. So today we are counting down 25 slang terms every old hand knew by heart, straight from the golden age, when the fuel crisis, the 55 limit, and Smokey and the Bandit made the CB the beating heart of the highway. And number one is a word for a driving trick so forgotten, most drivers under 40 have never even heard it can be done. Remember, out there, you were never your real name. You were your handle. Rubber duck, Bandit, Silver Fox, whatever name you earned at 70 miles an hour. So put your handle back on, keep count of how many of these you knew, and let's get started. Number 25, four-wheeler. Every car on the road, from a Volkswagen Beetle to a Cadillac, was a four-wheeler. It sounds simple, but the word carried an attitude. When a driver on the radio said a four-wheeler just cut him off on the ramp, every trucker within 5 miles knew exactly the frustration in his voice. Truckers lived on the road. Four-wheelers were just visiting. Young drivers today mostly just say cars, and honestly, something got lost there. Number 24, double nickel, 2 5s, 55 miles per hour. After the 1973 oil embargo, Congress dropped the national speed limit to 55, and drivers who were paid by the mile watched their paychecks shrink overnight. Doing the double nickel meant crawling along legal and losing money every hour. The phrase became a badge of shared misery. When the limit finally went away in 1995, the double nickel died with it. But every driver who ran those years still feels a little twitch hearing it. Number 23, chicken coop, the way station. Nobody is completely sure where the name came from, though the best guess is that scale houses looked about as inviting as a shed full of chickens. When a coop was open, the radio lit up for 20 miles in both directions. The coop is open. The coop is open. And if you were running heavy on the steer axle, that warning was worth more than gold. Drivers today have apps and pre-pass transponders. Back then, all you had was a friendly voice crackling through the static. Number 22, comic book. That one was the paper logbook. And the joke wrote itself because everybody knew those log pages were half fiction anyway. A driver would run hard all night, then sit in a truck stop booth with a cup of coffee and a pencil, drawing a legal day out of thin air. Calling it a comic book was the industry winking at itself. Electronic logging devices killed the comic book for good, and plenty of old-timers will tell you they buried a little freedom along with it. Number 21, alligator. A big chunk of blown tire tread lying on the highway, usually from a recap that let go in the summer heat. Hit a full-grown alligator at speed, and it could tear off a fuel crossover line, rip out an air hose, or punch through a four-wheeler's radiator. So drivers called them out constantly. Alligator in the granny lane, mile marker 212, and the little scattered pieces? Some drivers called those baby gators, or gator guts. The road had a whole ecosystem if you knew how to see it. Number 20, bobtail. Running the tractor with no trailer at all, just the cab, short and stubby like a bobtailed cat. New drivers always thought bobtailing would be easy, and every veteran learned the hard way that a bobtail tractor in the rain stops about as gracefully as a shopping cart. The word is still technically around, but you rarely hear it called out on the radio the way it used to be, back when a driver would announce he was bobtailing home for the weekend, and everybody understood exactly what that meant. No load to worry about, no dispatcher breathing down your neck, just a straight shot to your own driveway. Number 19, deadhead. Pulling an empty trailer and getting paid nothing, or next to nothing, for the miles. Deadheading 300 miles to pick up your next load was the silent tax of the business. The word actually goes back to the railroads, describing crew riding for free, and truckers adopted it and made it their own. You would hear it in that flat, resigned tone. Yeah, I am deadheading to Amarillo. Every driver on the channel knew that meant an unpaid day, and nobody had to say another word. Number 18, motion lotion, diesel fuel. Some drivers said go-go juice, but motion lotion was the one with poetry in it. Pulling into a truck stop meant topping off the tanks with motion lotion, grabbing a 100-mile cup of coffee, and swapping stories at the fuel desk. In an era when fuel prices were front-page news and drivers were striking over the cost of a gallon, having a playful name for the stuff that ruled your life was a small act of defiance. You could not control the price at the pump, but you could refuse to take it seriously on the radio, and that counted for something on a long night. Number 17, the hammer lane. The left lane, the passing lane, the place where you put the hammer down. Its opposite was the granny lane, the right lane where the slow freight lived. Give a young driver credit, hammer down has survived into the modern era, but the full vocabulary around it has thinned out. Back then, a driver might say he was moving to the hammer lane with the hammer down and the pedal to the metal, and the whole sentence rolled out like a song everybody knew the words to. The granny lane, on the other hand, was where you lived when you were loaded heavy and climbing, watching the world pass you by one four-wheeler at a time. Number 16, bear in the air. Now we enter bear country, because no group of Americans has ever invented more names for the police than truckers, and the police earned every one of them. A bear in the air was a patrol aircraft, a small plane or helicopter, clocking speeders from above with squad cars waiting at the next exit to collect. You could outrun a radar trap. You could not outrun the sky. When somebody called out a bear in the air, the whole convoy slowed down like church had just started. Number 15, plain wrapper. An unmarked police car. A plain brown wrapper if it was brown. A plain blue wrapper if it was blue. The genius of the term is that it told you the color without ever saying the word police, in case anybody official was listening in. There is a plain green wrapper sitting in the median at the 104. 5 words, and suddenly 40 trucks are innocently doing the speed limit. It was an early warning network that no technology has ever really matched for charm. Number 14, county mountie, the sheriff's deputy. Not a full-grown bear, which meant a state trooper, and not a local yokel, which meant a small-town city cop. A county mountie patrolled the county roads, and veteran drivers knew each flavor of law enforcement had its own personality. The state boys were professional. The county mounties knew every hiding spot on their turf, and the local yokels were wild cards. One phrase on the radio, and you knew who was waiting up ahead, what kind of mood to expect, and exactly how careful to be through the next county line. Number 13, Evel Knievel, a motorcycle cop. Named for the most famous daredevil in America, the man in the stars and stripes jumpsuit jumping buses at Caesar's Palace. Calling a motor officer an Evel Knievel was half warning and half compliment, because those guys would thread through stopped traffic and appear beside your door like a magic trick. When Evel Knievel faded from the headlines, the term faded with him. Say it on the radio today and a young driver will think you are talking about a video game. We are about to hit the terms that separate the real old hands from everybody else. If this list is taking you back, do me one favor and hit subscribe, because this channel digs into the golden age of trucking every single week, and there is a lot more road behind us to cover. And we still have not gotten to number 1, the trick they built modern trucks to make impossible. Number 12, Kojak with a Kodak. This might be the finest sentence the CB era ever produced. Kojak, the bald TV detective with the lollipop. Kodak, the camera company in every American home. Put them together and you get a cop with a radar gun. There is a Kojak with a Kodak taking pictures at the 240 yardstick. Absolute poetry. And it tells you exactly why this language died, because it was built out of the culture of its time. No Kojak on television, no Kodak film in the drugstore, no Kojak with a Kodak on the highway. Number 11, bear bait. That was the four-wheeler flying past the whole convoy at 80 in a 55. Truckers loved bear bait. You let that Corvette rocket ahead because he was going to sweep up every radar trap and speeding ticket for the next 50 miles while you rode along safely behind him. Drivers would practically cheer him on. Come on back. Bear bait. Clean out that speed trap for us. It was the food chain of the interstate, and everybody understood their place in it. The bears hunted the bait protected the herd, and the herd rolled on through, grateful and grinning. Number 10, feeding the bears. And when the bait ran out and the bear caught you instead, you paid the ticket, and that was called feeding the bears. A driver coming out of the scale house or back from the courthouse would key up and sigh. Spent my morning feeding the bears. Everybody chuckled, everybody winced because everybody had been there. It turned one of the worst days of the month into a shared joke, and that, right there, was the whole point of the radio. Now this next one, you simply cannot say anymore, and plenty of you are already smiling. Number 9, seat cover. A seat cover was an attractive passenger in a four-wheeler. On a hot July afternoon on Interstate 40, the radio would light up. Check the seat covers in that yellow convertible, westbound. Was it professional? No. Was it the 70s? Completely. The term rode off into the sunset decades ago, and it survives now only in the memories of drivers who ran those miles when the world was a very different place. Number 8, chicken lights. All those extra amber and red marker lights outlining a tractor and trailer, dozens more than the law required. The name supposedly goes back to early poultry haulers who strung extra lights so thieves could not sneak up on the load at night. By the 70s, chicken lights were pure show. A large car, which meant a big long nose Peterbilt or Kenworth dressed to kill, might carry 100 of them, glowing down the highway at night like a rolling carnival. Some custom rigs still do it, but the word itself is fading fast. And the cops were not the only ones with nicknames. The trucks had them too. Number 7, freight shaker, the freightliner, and not exactly a compliment, because drivers joked the cab would shake your fillings loose. Every brand had a nickname in that spirit. A Kenworth was a K-Whopper. An International was a corn binder. A Mack was simply a bulldog for the chrome hood ornament. Your truck's nickname was part of your identity out there, and drivers defended their brand at the fuel island counter the way other men argued Ford versus Chevy. Number 6, wiggle wagons, doubles and triples. 2 or 3 short trailers hooked in a train, and the name told you everything, because that last trailer wiggled and wandered and swayed in a crosswind like it had a mind of its own. Old hands gave wiggle wagons plenty of room, especially in Wyoming wind country. Passing a set of triples on a windy day, you kept one eye on your mirror and one eye on that rear box dancing around back there, and you did not breathe easy until it was behind you. Say wiggle wagons at a table of retired drivers and watch every single head nod at once. But the radio was not all jokes and bare reports. Sometimes it saved lives. Number 5, Willie Weaver, a drunk driver, weaving lane to lane. Before cell phones, before 911 on every dashboard, the CB network was genuinely how dangerous drivers got reported and tracked mile by mile. There is a Willie Weaver in a green Ford pickup, northbound at the 117. Somebody get a bear on him. Truckers took that job seriously. They were the eyes of the highway, and more than a few lives were saved because a driver on Channel 19 called out a Willie Weaver in time. Number 4, sandbagging, sitting on the channel, listening to everything, saying nothing. Some drivers sandbagged to monitor traffic and bear reports without the chatter. Others sandbagged just to eavesdrop on an argument between 2 drivers going at it across 10 miles of interstate, which was better entertainment than anything on the radio dial. The term came over from ham radio operators, and it captures something young drivers never experienced. The CB was a rolling theater, and sandbagging was your front row seat. Number 3, alligator radio, Here is one. Even some veterans have not heard in decades. An alligator radio was all mouth and no ears. A rig with an overpowered transmitter and a lousy receiver. The guy could talk all day, stepping on every conversation for 20 miles. But he could not hear anybody talking back. It became the perfect insult for a certain kind of driver too. All mouth, no ears. There are people in every walk of life you could describe that way, and truckers nailed it in 2 words 50 years ago. Number 2, dragonfly. A gutless, underpowered truck, and the definition is a thing of beauty. It drags going up the hill, and it flies coming down. Every driver who ever fought a worn-out 2-stroke Detroit up a Pennsylvania grade at 25 miles per hour, 4-wheelers stacked up behind him, knows the dragonfly life. Then you crest the top, gravity takes over, and suddenly that same tired truck is the fastest thing on the mountain. Drag up, fly down. Dragonfly. Whoever coined that one deserves a plaque at every truck stop in America. And number 1, Georgia Overdrive. If you know this one, you did not learn it from a book. You learned it from a driver. Georgia Overdrive meant knocking the transmission into neutral at the top of a long grade and coasting down, letting gravity push you past whatever the governed engine would allow. Free speed, free fuel, and free time on a tight schedule. It was also flat out dangerous and illegal, because with no engine braking, if things went wrong on the way down, your options got very bad, very fast. Some drivers called it a Mexican overdrive. Others just said they were letting her roll. Modern automatic transmissions will not even allow it. Safety regulations forbid it, and Jake brakes made it pointless. Which means Georgia Overdrive is not just forgotten slang. It is an extinct skill, a trick from an era when the driver, not the computer, decided how a truck came down a mountain. So there it is. 25 words from a language built by working men on Channel 19, without a single committee or classroom, and polished by 1,000,000 miles of blacktop until every phrase did its job perfectly. That language warned drivers about bears, saved lives from willy weavers, and turned lonely nights on the interstate into the biggest conversation in America. The trucks got safer and the technology got smarter, but nobody ever built an app that could make a stranger 3 miles ahead of you laugh out loud in the dark. And honestly, 25 barely scratches the surface. We never even got to the convoy positions, riding the front door up ahead, watching the back door behind, or cruising easy in the rocking chair in the middle where no bear could touch you. We skipped the shaky side and the dirty side, the 1036 time checks, the salt shakers working a snowy grade, and the dragon wagon coming to haul some poor 4-wheeler out of the median. Every one of those terms was a thread in the same fabric, a working culture that built its own language because nobody else was going to build it for them. Now here is what I want to know. How many did you get? Give yourself a score out of 25 and drop it in the comments. And if you have a term I missed, one only the real old hands would know, put it down there too, because the best part of every one of these videos is the comment section turning into a truck stop counter. There is another ride through trucking's golden age waiting for you on screen right now. Climb in.